first quarter's been their best. They have won 16 of 20 first quarters this year.
And it's Jolly against Marriage to start proceedings. Jolly got the first tap, went straight to Van Berlo, who played so well last week up in Brisbane. Kicks to half forward, Dangerfield. Puts Adelaide inside 50. Tippett attacks it and might have got a free. No, it's going Collingwood's way for a push.
Back out, hands in the back.
So Tuvey at half back, or actually more in the back pocket for Collingwood. Very slippery, had some rain late this afternoon. It's in great nick, the MCG, but it is a little bit slippery. It kicks towards Swan, can't take the mark. Schmidt puts Adelaide back inside 50. Wobbly old kick, spills to Pendlebury.
The Magpies work it around. Johnson to ball, and Pendlebury gets it back and pumps it forward. Blair hemmed in defensively to Pendlebury for a third involvement in that play. Swan well covered by John Cock. Henderson just not able to handle the slippery ball cleanly, so a throw-in.
Brent Riley with the job on Dane Swan at the moment.
Both Ruckman missed that one. Ball forces it inside Collingwood's 50. Dawes. Strong tackle by Thompson. And that could be an Adelaide free kick.
Just pulled him out of the pack. Let it go. Calm down. There. Just pulled him. Took it right. You hold his jump plate. Graham John Cock.
So free kick to John Cock in the back pocket.
Hold there, Luke.
Not much on offer. So it goes back to the defensive goal square to Schmidt.
Goes the corridor, does it well. Van Berlo, and he has a good target in Marriage, who slipped away from Jolly. Crow's dangerous here, should be able to make something of it. Good choice, Marriage. Paul Pleasure made a bit of a mess of it, but it's gone all the way for a goal to the big man. The Crows draw first blood.
Great start there from the Adelaide Crows, and they've gone in with some structure. Jack Anthony's got the big job on Taylor Walker, but that was a coast-to-coast goal. Rarely happens against Collingwood, and the Crows have really struggled to kick goals in the last 6 or 7 weeks, and that is a fantastic start from a running ruckman, Marriage, on Darren Jolly, who's been in really good form.
And a real bonus for Adelaide. Would have been planning for Ivan Marriage to kick too many goals. Neil Craig loves it.
And good to see Marriage get away from Jolly. Usually Jolly's the ruckman who's able to get away from his opponents. He's very good at running forward to create, as Darren Jolly.
Jolly the tap, spills to Riley. Adelaide back inside their 50. Chases on. Brown will get there before Tippett, but he has a fresh area. And we'll have a throw in down to Mark Howard.
Possibly should have packed a jumper or two, Neil Craig. He's coaching down on the bench. It's about 3 degrees. He's just got the polo on that, or he's a very tough unit.
Touch of the Tommy Hafeys. You're doing a lot of whinging early in the game, Howie.
You just stick to commentary, Stephen.
Could be a long night. McCaffer. Good tackle by Rutten.
Well, there's Jack Anthony at centre-half back playing on Walker. And he's got a chance to get himself into some finals football. Ben Reid, the regular centre-half back, out injured at the moment with a leg injury.
Good takeaway. Again, Blair and Pendlebury. Stevens did well, brought it down to John Cock. Adelaide escaping again. The visitors making a good start. Touched off the boot, but Symes has Blair covered. Again, Pendlebury's got it. He's got it on a string. That is a searing delivery, but it's not held. And there'll be a ball up. Collingwood deep in the 50.
And that's going to be a great match up there. Davis, who is also talking about, there's a great kick there from Pendlebury, but Davis right there, he's replacing Bock. He's an early draft pick. Huge job tonight to try and stop Cloak.
5 early touches. Oh, beautiful tap from Jolly to ball, and he just missed, but dangerous stuff for the Pies. That was rehearsed, I'm sure. Just didn't quite come off the kick for Luke Ball. Superb ruck work.
Crows have had 9 kicks, no handballs just yet.
Oh, that's a poor one. As the kick's cut off by side bottom.
Pretty accurate kick, Steele side bottom. Kicked 16 goals, 10 this year.
Right on the 50, decides to try to pass to Brown unsuccessfully. John Cox, Stevens, Rutten, Symes, handball intercepted, spells to Thomas, and Thomas kicks the goal.
Yeah, the Pies' pressure has been relentless throughout this whole season. They tackle better than any other side in the competition, and that was just the harassment there from Dale Thomas and Symes, you know, just under pressure there, and just the wall that Collingwood put up just once again applies. They don't get goals just from marks, they create them from their pressure.
Let it go. Let it go. Tyson. And you can just see the smother by Daisy Thomas, and that's the sort of thing that will very much please his coach. Forwards putting pressure on defenders. Nobody does it any better than this Collingwood team.
Big standing leap there from Thomas. It just looked like a bad hand pass, but he did very well to make the block. And there's a Collingwood free kick. Cloak up in midfield. And the Magpies, the confident Magpies, advance. Swans there. John Cock flew in front. Blair brought down by Doughty. Magpie fans reckon in the back. Absolutely no doubt, they say. John Cock in strife, got it onto his boot. Sloan, Van Berlo, terrific pressure. Schmidt, and it was collected on the wrong side of the line. So it'll be a throw-in.
The McCaffer tackle on John Cock in the end was a beauty. I admire the determination of John Cock to break past 3 or 4 Magpies, but finally they're able to restrict him. But he had a crack, and McCaffer was equally as good in holding him up.
Good strength by Marich. Got rid of Jolly. Did well, the young ruckman. Kicks back to the wing. Walker got knocked over by Anthony. Good use of the body there too. Maxwell. Handball over towards Shaw. Unsuccessful. Now poor Pleasure. Kicks to a one-on-one. Tippett works his way to the front. Can't take them up. Well sport by Brown. He collides with a teammate, but manages to kick it inside 50. Henderson gets a bad bounce. And now Harry O'Brien will clear for Collingwood. But only as far as Sloan. And boy, has he got some ability, this young man. Back into the corridor to Douglas. Out into space. Henderson can't quite take the mark. Handballs. Oh, could have been a free kick for a leg. Spills to poor Pleasure, who kicks a point.
Gee, it did look like a low tackle on McKay, didn't it?
Just on poor Pleasure, kicked 57 goals last year and just 21 from 17 games this year. So he's been one player who's been a huge disappointment for the Crows this season.
Well, that looked like a clear miss by the umpire, and it should have been a set shot for goal rather than the snap. Anthony thought he might have miscued that, but he got it all right. And Tuvey receives, and he has a target on the wing, side bottom, inside to Wellingham. Collingwood in full flight here. Lee Brown not at the first grab, and Rutten got hold of him. And well stolen by John Cock. Just couldn't take it all the way. Jolly working it to side bottom. Crows hold them up.
He's had a couple of tough balls to take, Lee Brown, and he spilled both of them. The short pass mark inside 50 and the half volley just then.
Seller against Brown. Here's Sloan again. Got the handball off to Dangerfield, who ducked the head. Good umpiring to let that go. Didak jams it on the boot, but it's cut off by Stevens, who's having a very consistent and a very good year for Adelaide. Unfashionable player, but does the job. Thompson into the corridor. They've worked that well, Adelaide. Now Schmidt drills it long. Poor Pleasure. Good mark, stood his ground.
The thing you like about Adelaide, I know it's only early minutes, less than 10 minutes we've played, but at least they are playing on quickly and trying to take it through the corridor. So it's bold football that they're playing, taking the game up to the Magpies.
In fact, it's Yench, my apologies. So he's got it just inside the 50. Not much of an angle to speak of. And Matthew Yench, 9 games this season for 6 goals. And that started right, and that's where it stayed. In fact, it won't even make the distance in the end, and it'll go through for a rush behind.
Been a good start from the Adelaide Crows. 6 inside 50s to the Crows, just 4 to Collingwood.
Got sacked. Oh, just too much of a stab. the steal, and it's Young who's doing the defensive job on O'Brien, who kicks the goal for Adelaide.
This is Tyson Goldsack kicking in from fullback, not something we see him do that often. And that was just something that we're seeing some pressure put on Collingwood tonight that we haven't seen for a number of weeks. And as I said, it's been a sensational start for the Crows.
Well, Goldsack, you can see the kick in. It's just a terrible kick. The man guarding the mark, Tippett, he was able to get a hand on it and finished off by Young. Goldsack demanded that he do the kicking in. He actually told Jack Anthony to nick off because he wanted to kick it in.
Interesting story. Will Young conceded 6 goals in the only game he's played. Picked 72 back in 2008. Had some real problems with some back fractures, but playing in big time again, and that's his first goal in league footy in his second match. Brown for Collingwood gets the clearance. Torpedoes it to the 50. Strong stuff from McCaffrey. Bullied his way to the front and took a good mark. That's not 15. Ooh. Umpire's paid it, and the mark's taken by Beams.
McCaffrey's one player who Collingwood wouldn't have factored in, I don't think, the improvement that he's developed this year, and he's now in their best 22, no doubt about that. He'll be part of finals footy. He's just been in sensational form.
The size of him, strong, just so strong across the shoulders. Puts the tackles on, runs hard.
Dane Beams converting at only 48% this year. Kicks it behind.
So the Crows competitive early and with the lead as Ben Rutten prepares to bring it back. No longer part of that tandem, Rutten and Bock. So good for a considerable period. Here's the dangerous Didak. Gave to Brown, who was on his knees. Not a good place to be. Thompson to Doughty, and the Crows are away, and they have numbers at this contest. Very well taken by Douglas, who was just about the smallest there. Wasting no time, delivering well. Oh, Van Berlo copped front on contact. Umpires liberal early, and Collingwood labouring as the Crows advance. Brown working it out for the Magpies, not for long. And Adelaide's work rate is good. Seller with the footy, couple hanging off him. And there's got to be a ball up.
Tim, percentage play on by the Crows is around 60% after a mark, extremely high, but it's just an indication that Neil Craig has told his players, move the ball on quickly if you can get it into the corridor.
Jolly the tap, the umpire goes over. Here's Didak. And the kick's good. Finds Pendlebury. He's coming up for his 6th disposal in the match already.
Move it on. Play on. Play on.
Short one to Johnson.
13 minutes into the first quarter. Dane Swan still yet to have a disposal. So Brent Riley, he's been the shutdown man for the Crows. Had a great start to this match.
Saw a similar story last night with Adelaide. Yeah. Kept very quiet, and he exploded in the second half, didn't he?
He kicked 4 goals in the second half.
Kick to the wing. Back of the pack is Van Berlo. Can't quite control it. Wellingham. Kicks long and deep. John Cock against McCaffrey. John Cock wins out.
I reckon Mick Malthouse would love the challenge of McCaffrey playing on John Cock. John Cock is a star, I reckon. McCaffrey's just a young fellow learning his trade. Great challenge to play on him.
McKay to Stevens as the Crows switch back to the members' side.
And he has 2 good targets. He goes Rutten the long one. And Rutten moves it on quickly. Riley and Rutten share it. And now Davis. Collingwood's pressure good here. Rutten though, and Adelaide escape and kick beyond the middle. Sloan. O'Brien just couldn't get there in time, and he just couldn't lay the tackle in time. Adelaide dangerous again. Yench, 45 out. Time to straighten and deliver for Henderson. The open goal in front of him.
I think Wolsey's point on the play on has been something that A lot of teams are getting caught in the trap or the web of Collingwood's full ground press, full ground zone. And I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to take it on. Even though you may make some mistakes at stages, I think the Crows are using their handball. They're using the ball well by foot. And they're getting over the back of Collingwood zone.
Well, they're playing the game really well. And again, have a look at the mark. Sloane takes the mark under pressure, but one thought in mind: I've got to move the ball on quickly. They're the instructions. At this stage of the game, the Crows' play on percentage after marks is 71%, which is probably as high as you'll get in AFL football. I reckon it's really good to see Neil Craig set his boys up like this.
Poor pleasure tackled by Swan.
Don't hold, don't block. Give him a run.
Marich tapped it straight to Pendlebury. He's tackled by Sloane. Another bounce in the middle. So third time lucky, hopefully.
And the Crows have got a loose man in defence. Scott Stevens is the extra man for the Adelaide Crows.
Holding, Dane Swan free kick for a hole.
I think the umpire had to think for a minute who the free kick was going to.
This doesn't augur well for his Brownlow prospects if the umpire doesn't know who he is. Well, he's getting a couple of touches here, Dane Swan. It's a half forward, no mark to Cloak. Driven into the ground with Symes. And throw in. There's the Swan free kick. Gee, didn't see much in that, did there? So Marich against Jolly. Marich again, matching it with strength early against Jolly. Here's Swan. So coming into the game now is the Brownlow favourite. To Beams. Big pack fly. Front and centre was Symes.
Wolsey, one for you as the only person that's coached here. How hard is it to keep a side up like Collingwood? They've been going up and about for 10 weeks.
I reckon Mick Malthouse has got a lot of things in his favour, and basically it is that there's half a dozen players who can step into this team. Players like Leon Davis, Presti will come back in, Ben Reid will come back in, Lockyer, Medhurst are knocking on the door. So even though they've won games, I reckon every Collingwood player out there knows that his position isn't safe. And that's a nice way for a coach to be. Having said that, it's a pretty disappointing start by the Magpies. I mentioned right at the start of the game that they usually blast the opposition in the first quarter. Hasn't happened in this game, and I reckon Mick will be pretty angry when he gets out there at quarter time.
Crows press again. Douglas into the 50. Tippett beaten by the bounce. Walker well tied up to Tippett. Just couldn't collect it cleanly. Swan kept it alive. O'Brien. Pendlebury, who's been in everything, over the line. You blokes aren't getting a little jumpy about one of the top teams in the competition 20 minutes into the first quarter, are you?
We're very conservative in our opinion, Tim, unlike yourself. We learned from your mistake last week.
Tippett the tap to Walker. Poor pleasure, didn't have it. Umpire let it go. Henderson tried to squeeze the kick out. Now Johnson for Collingwood. Under pressure. Good handball to side bottom. And his kick finds Lee Brown. Just outside defensive 50.
Just got the numbers back, the Crows, at the moment. That's why Collingwood looking to go sideways and backwards. That extra man in defence, as Matty Lloyd said, looking at it now, Collingwood are looking upfield and finding it very hard to go deep forward. They're going laterally.
Goldsack. Thumping drop punt to the wing, but Crows have the numbers, and there's Big Marich. Kicks into the corridor, and marked by Van Berlo, gives it off to Thompson.
Spearing pass. Gee, I thought that was markable for Walker. Henderson snares it, though. Gets too much curl on the kick. Crows lead by 13 points.
Both these sides really mirror each other in the way they play. Both teams will have the full ground press, putting pressure on the opposition, so you have to really be clean by hand and foot. You see here the Adelaide Crows have got every player up the ground and in their half of the ground. So Rutten, Stevens, they're putting the pressure on there in the middle of the ground.
Stay there, thank you. That's the mark.
Move it on. Play on.
Tuvi to ball to Didak.
Well done. Force them out. Good pressure by the Crows.
Exactly what they would have been looking for in the kick-in. You just want to get a restart, just 70 metres out from goal.
Back of the pack is Thompson. Couldn't quite control it. Walker quick hands to Thompson. Crows wanted a free kick, none forthcoming. Goldsack. As the Pies work it out of defence to the wing, McCaffer. Swan all of a sudden has got 5 touches next to his name. Bajoli back to Swan. They're starting to rack him up now. To McCaffer. To Shaw. Look out. Dispossessed. Sloan, nice pickup. And even has a bounce on the slippery MCG turf. Dishes off to Port Leisure in the Tippett direction. Will he try to soccer off the ground? No, getting there first. Nice pickup too by Dangerfield. Can't quite shrug the tackle. Anthony off to McCaffer.
Magpies still with just the 1 goal and defending for their lives here to Wellingham. 11 months is a long time in football. 2 teams met here in that absolutely thrilling semi-final last year. Crows have only 13 of their 22 from that night, and most of those missing have been very good players, some of them champions of the club. Again, they hold up as Collingwood were mounting an attack. Marriage to Stevens, who kicks to Van Berlo. Collingwood, on the other hand, have 17 of that 22. And apart from Prestigiacomo, the others probably can't quite crack their best team at the moment. This is Yench over on the southern wing for the Crows, who have won the quarter so far, but it's not over. Taylor Walker coming 3rd in line for Adelaide. There'll be a throw in Adelaide's attacking half once again.
Collingwood have rarely lost a contested possession this season, and currently it's Adelaide leading 34-25 in that area. A great sign of what you've got to do to beat the Magpies.
Wellingham to Pendlebury. To Beams. Now handball to Didak. Pops it over the top to Blair. That's really well worked by Collingwood. Then Pendlebury runs into a wall. Gives it back to Wellingham. Kicks to half forward. Cut off by Mr. Reliable. Scott Stevens into the middle. Good kick. It comes out to Symes. Little chip to the 50.
They've doubled the inside 50s, Adelaide, 12-6. And a couple of times we've seen Collingwood trying to take the ball forward. They hug the boundary line, and Crows are very much aware of that, forced them over.
No one contested that one. Yench has a crack. To Van Berlo into the pocket. And Mark taken quite comfortably in the end by Nathan Brown.
Bring it back. You've got to go out of the protected area. You can't stand there and block.
So Ben Johnson goes to another spot and receives the hand pass. Kicks to Didak. Looks as though he has Symes covering him. To Jolly, and John Cock, try as he might, just couldn't prize it away from the big man.
Again, so close to the boundary line as they bring the ball out of that defensive 50.
Jolly, such an asset for Collingwood as this season has worn on. Kicks towards Dawes, 2 against him. 2 big men, Rutten and Stevens. Schmidt and Rutten for Adelaide. Hold it up. Well done by Schmidt. I don't know whether Dangerfield was expecting it. Didak, well played by Walker. Crashing his way in. And Johnson can only see it over the line.
Matthew, before the game, when we had the opener, we saw
Shaw in trouble.
We saw Mick Malthouse speaking to his charges. Did you think he was saying, boys, switch on, make sure you're on and up for this game?
He may have been quarters. Sometimes you can sense in a warm-up that a team may not be up and about. That may be the case, or it may just be something that they've done week in, week out.
Sloan giving it off to Dangerfield. Not the contact he wanted. Awful ball to be under. Thompson crashing over O'Brien for a throw-in. Howie, can you see how it looks with Heath Shaw?
Yeah, just a bit of a concern with his AC joint, but doesn't look too bad. He's trying to get back up and back in business, Tim.
Big worry up forward for the Magpies. Not that it's been there a lot. Travis Cloke, 1 disposals. Dawes, none.
I think, Wolsey, and that's been the asset for Collingwood this year. I think no longer are they going the short passes to guys like Davis and Medhurst. They're taking contested marks inside 50, and they're double teaming Cloak and Dawes and Lee Brown tonight.
Got an impromptu fireworks display over the top of the MCG. Melbourne Storm must have scored. Very spectacular.
We haven't got an election result.
Either that, Tony Abbott's gone a bit early. Sell of the tap, Sloan. Good tackle, a crunching tackle by Ball. And a free kick going Adelaide's way.
Careful, thank you. No, against Luke.
Mick Moldhouse down on the bench, just letting a few of his boys know exactly what they should be doing. He's not happy at the moment, the coach.
Well, it's a bad turnover. Didak, clever little release to Thomas. Now they're away, Collingwood. Might be able to split him open here. McCaffer to Beam. Stevens does the spalling. Thomas has another go. Back to McCaffer. He's gang tackled, and the umpire will ball it up.
Fireworks weren't coming from Mick, were they, Howie?
Just about. I'm not going to say anything about that, though, Tim.
I think Adelaide's structure under Neil Craig is really standing up well. Obviously, they're winning the ball in the midfield, but the zone set up with the Crows is really troubling the Magpies.
Good steal by Ball. Rutten, though, attacked it against Dawes. And Adelaide prevail again. Riley had a look, delivered ambitiously, and Maxwell saw it coming and had a bit much height on Sloan. And the skipper loops it to Blair. Side bottom running straight into a Doughty straitjacket. Back to Blair. Just got it onto his boot in time. John Cock in from the side.
Push out, Ben Rutten.
An Adelaide free kick. Rutten can take it.
Dawes. Push out.
Dawes the offence.
Against Chris Dawes.
You saw it there. Umpire spotted it beautifully. It's a free kick in the back pocket to Rutten. Balls to John Cock, weighs up the options and goes long. Looking for Dangerfield. Good effort by Pendlebury to spoil. Handball comes to Blair, caught one high. He's off. Gee, got up and played on quickly. Blair might go all the way. He loads up from 45 metres into the goal square, just offline. Gee, that would have been some sort of goal from Jared Blair.
Has a crack, doesn't he, Jared Blair? Smallest player out there. I think it's just his 7th game for the Magpies. So it was terrific last week.
That was a beautiful kick in to Douglas and Seller. So under 90 seconds left. Adelaide having a good quarter. They could make it better yet. Their kicking has been excellent. That was a bad miss by Marich off Schmidt's kick. Strong tackle, Anthony, and Collingwood have the numbers. But a little hand in there was important from Stevens and forces a throw in.
Statistics are quite even, but one great sign for Collingwood is their tackle pressure is right up there, and Luke Ball's led them for most of the season in that area, and he's up and about with another 4 so far tonight.
Brown the tap for Collingwood to Ball, to side bottom. He's dispossessed by Douglas. Symes tried to break his way through, got the quick handball to Dangerfield, goes into the pocket. Anthony. Handballs to Brown. Tippett kept it alive to Sloan. Fired out the handball to Van Berlo. Back to Tippett. He's gone.
He put one into the face of Pendlebury.
And Pendlebury didn't like it.
I'd like to see a replay of that and just see if he's in trouble, Tippett.
So Pendlebury got the free kick and one in the mush to boot. No, it's okay. Nothing wrong with that one. Collingwood away on the burst here on the outer wing. Didak. Chips to Swan. And goes into the pocket looking for side bottom. He marched just before the line. Still side bottom has the ball.
Gee, when they've gone forward, they've crabbed along the boundary line in this first quarter, the Magpies. Look, it's something they do effectively, but just one goal to their credit. Been a terrific opening by the Crows.
So this will be the last kick of the quarter. From a very tight angle, side bottom blazes away and kicks it out of bounds on the full. So quarter time, Adelaide 3-3, Collingwood 1-3.
Don't think Mick's terribly happy. The underdogs have made a good start.
He hasn't lost the fire, Rob.
No, well, look, there's big stakes, isn't there? Mick's, how many games has he got in front of him? Maybe about another 30 odd, and then he hands the reins over to Nathan Buckley. So there's a lot at stake for Mick and Collingwood.
So underway, and the Crows share it around for Van Berlo to go high and wide. Brown, Tippett, clever. Used a bit of his basketball background there, just a little tap away. Johnson, though, has other ideas for Collingwood. Wellingham to ball. It's being done under pressure. Shaw back to Johnson. Along the chalk. Beams under an awkward ball. Well taken. The eyes never left it. It was a good mark. Crows have come to the MCG 3 times this year and started well each time against Melbourne and Richmond, but then fell away in the second half. Challenges to string 4 quarters together here tonight against Collingwood. Beams to the 50 and Dawes. Rutten's been good so far. Douglas keeps it in play, gives and gets, and did well to get the kick on the tackle. John Cock, just not the kindest bounce, but gets it to Portpleasure. Promising move now. And Walker, a long way from home, sets it in flight. Tippett and Brown, one out. Tippett got the hands around it, couldn't hang on. Dangerfield off the ground just too late. It crossed the line, says the goal umpire, and I'm sure he's right.
He was right. That's something Tippett did all the hard work, just couldn't finish off there. But that's what you got to do. Get Nathan Brown, Jack Anthony in one-on-one situations. And this man, Young, he had the job on O'Brien in the first quarter. Now he's got a negating role on Nick Maxwell, the captain.
So Will Young, another opportunity to boot a goal.
We're out now. Got it marked up.
Adelaide lead by 13 points. And didn't even make the distance in the end, and will be rushed behind going Adelaide's way.
So early opportunities from the Crows result in a couple of rush behinds. And the pressure still on the Magpies. Johnson and Anthony.
Again, around the boundary line. Every time Jack Anthony's got it, he's handballed it tonight.
They're not hugging it, they've got it in a stranglehold. Heath Shaw, so nothing seriously wrong with that shoulder. Jolly forced to go the spoil. All Adelaide at the front. Portpleasure, Thompson. Back to Marriage. Further back and inaccurately. And you just can't do that against Collingwood. Didak, Lee Brown with the left, running it all the way home.
We've spoken about how well Adelaide had used the ball in that first quarter. Well, that's the big fella, Marriage. Obviously, that's why they tell Ruckman they should handball and not kick Wolsey, because that was a turnover, unforgivable turnover. And Lee Brown, what a season he's had as that third tall forward, along with Dawes and Cloak. So that's a great response, just what the Pies needed. Two goals the Pies have got have both been from turnovers. One from Symes and that one there from Marriage. Just an unforgivable turnover. Kick across goal. And Lee Brown's made them hurt on the scoreboard.
And Collingwood averaged 75 points a game from opposition turnovers. Number 1 in the competition. They really make you pay if you make a mistake.
It's just not the time of the year to do it. Mick, come on.
Not the time of the year to do it, boys. To get yourself reported. Well done, umpire.
Jolly the tap to Swan. Couldn't control it.
Holding the man.
Gets the free kick anyway.
Yep, you're free. Two of us made the free kick.
There it is, no doubt about that. So Swan right in the middle of the MCG has the football. Kicks out wide to Jolly, who goes into the pocket. Target is Thomas, and that's an excellent mark from Dale Thomas. In career best form.
He is Quarters. He's had a terrific season, and he's not the player. You know, he's been an exciting player, but he does the team things more and more and more. Works really hard. Got himself fit. What will he do? Have a shot or pop it up in front of the square?
averaging 24 possessions a game. Tough angle. And that's out on the full.
Pies have changed their game style this year where they're going longer to tools instead of just going around the boundary line to Medhurst and Davis and the like. But Travis Cloke just the one disposal on young Davis, and Chris Staw's yet to have a touch on Ben Rutten. So they need those two players to get in the match.
Scott Thompson offering the short option for John Cock, and then a little precariously but finds Symes, who kicks to a contest. Van Berlo, Tuvey against him. And Young sees it to the line. Harry O'Brien on the bench, as Lloydie said. Young, that's Will Young, had O'Brien in the first quarter playing the forward defence role and bobbed up with a goal, but O'Brien starting the second term on the bench, looking to come back shortly.
Soccer off the ground by Shaw, not 15 is the call. Van Berlo stripped of it by Pendlebury. Now they have a little one-on-one contest.
Oh, well. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Scott.
Marich against Jolly. Tap to Pendlebury. Ineffective kick. Step by side bottom to Wellingham. Tried to thread it through unsuccessfully. Douglas to centre half forward. Attacking it and taking a good mark as Tippett. As Crows players peel off everywhere. He's got a couple of options. And one of them, Walker spilt the beans. That is a bad miss. He had a couple of metres on his opponent, and that is a lost opportunity for the Crows. Walker tries to make amends. It's a good second effort. Now he feints the free kick. Umpire wake up to that one. Quick kick by Tuvey towards the boundary line. And Pendlebury keeps it alive. Pops it over the top to Goldsack.
He is a star, Pendlebury, with his handball and vision and awareness.
First disposal 13, 5 kicks, 8 hand passes, and Collingwood, a sense, just gaining some confidence here out of some Adelaide errors. Side bottom getting it onto Beams. In the Cloak direction, and he outstrength a smaller man in John Cock. He got rid of Rutten for the moment, and it was a fatal moment for Adelaide.
Two players, I think, have really kept Collingwood in this. It's been such an ordinary start, but Luke Ball's been really good in and under. And look at the Walker miss here. And Neil Craig will be saying, you know, everything's gone right. Marich gives a lousy kick that sets up Collingwood's second goal. And then a Walker drops a mark that was a gift. But Ball and Pendlebury have been fantastic for the Pies in this dark 35-40 minutes that they've played.
Now, how's the kicking? Comfortable range. Not such a comfortable ride. And the Crows still lead by 7 points.
Kick-in's not all that flash. But John Cock recovers nicely, and he kicks to Thompson, who's just come back onto the ground. Quickly to the wing. Van Berlo to Dangerfield. He's got some space here. Shanks the kick, though. Poor delivery inside 50, and the mark's taken by Nathan Brown. Comes to the members' side, to his namesake in Lee.
Stay there. Play on.
He's going to switch back. Oh dear, Jolly drops it. Walker kicks the goal. That's a howler.
Well, the Pies did the right thing. They're looking to switch the play. They try and make the zone move. So Lee Brown's switched the ball across. Once again, another ruckman who've fumbled the ball. Obviously, it's a slippery ball, but he just took his eyes off it at the wrong time, Darren Jolly. And when goals are hard to come by, that was a crucial mistake there. We saw Ivan Marich make a critical mistake earlier, and then the ruckman, the opposite end, just took his eyes off it at the last minute. He saw he was in big trouble there, and Taylor Walker made up for the drop mark earlier and kicked a great goal.
A bit of charity from Jolly. Deathly silence from the Magpie Army. They've come to love Darren Jolly in less than a season. But their feelings not so warm in that moment.
Could have been one Magpie happy and one Magpie only.
Oh, I think I know who you're referring to, Rob.
Yes.
Gives you got a sinister mind, you have.
Oh, well, Josh Fraser needs another game to get 200, get back into the team, and that bloke's keeping him out.
Kick 5 today, boys. Josh Fraser in the 2s.
Well, there you go. Howie's on the same page as me. He's a nasty little fella.
Turn it up, Woolsey. I'm much nicer than you.
Big reputation as a sniper, Howie.
Wellingham's ball for Collingwood. But just really kicking that to a contest that Collingwood were never going to win. They do gain 40 metres, however, and they have it inside their 50. It's the Crows by 13 points. And the game not going according to the script so far. Thompson for Adelaide. Doughty and did well. He just nursed it off his boot, so it didn't have too much carry. And he couldn't be condemned for a deliberate out, so a throw-in was a good result for the Crows.
60 out from the Collingwood goal. Unsuccessful little soccer there by Swan. In heavy traffic, Schmidt did well. To Thompson. The Crows work it to the wing. Sloan just lost his footing at the crucial moment. Here's Pendlebury again. Tried to sell the dummy to Port Pleasure unsuccessfully.
Been good signs for Paul Pleasure. He's had 8 disposals, a shot at goal, and that's a quality tackle there. And that's what you got to do when you're out of form. And there's been 6 goals kicked in the match, all generated from turnovers. So this game could come down to which key forward can stand up.
Gee, Douglas went hard at it. Strong Collingwood bodies though won out, and a beautiful pass from Pendlebury to Dawes to Wellingham. Inside 50. Oh, the big fly was from McCaffer. It spills to Shaw, who straightens up and misses.
Heath Shaw being played more on a wing in the last month. Goldsack, Tuvey playing well in defence. It just enables them to get Heath Shaw further up the ground.
Might have seen the mark of the year this afternoon, Brendan Goddard at Etihad Stadium.
Gee, it was a beauty.
Doughty, good kick. Finds Rutten. Adelaide's kicking efficiency at 64. I think it was higher earlier. Well played by Jolly, looking for atonement for his sins. Wellingham brought down. There'll be a ball up.
Phil Davis has been on the bench for 5 or 6 minutes to the Crows. He's got a bit of a chop to the throat. Just struggling to breathe at the moment, Phil Davis.
How are you getting on down there, Howie? Not too cold for you?
Thanks for your thoughts, Tim.
Always thinking of you. We're in a privileged position up here. A Collingwood free kick.
You put your leg out. Stay there. Stay there.
Stevich spotting something from his vantage point over there. Luke Ball along the flank. Bad miss by Symes. And those errors can be costly, especially when Didak's around. His delivery is normally pinpoint. This isn't. And Van Berlo gets to it for the Crows. Forced wide for Sloan. Wait for the bounce. Beat Maxwell with the left-sided turn. Good kick. Henderson. Crows building. And that's a very good kick from Henderson to Symes, who made good ground out of defence. The umpire says he's played on. Goes corridor. Douglas. Oh, good smother. Wellingham from a few metres off. Did it well. Blair. Beams. Collingwood on the counter-attack.
Lazy
Not for
kick.
long. Not for long, but they might get it back. McKay has it pinched. Well played, Beams. McCaffer. Collingwood growing in danger here. Jolly setting it up, and Thomas has no one within a bull's roar of him, and he's well within range.
And Jolly has had 12 disposals. We are 13 minutes into this second quarter. That's a lot of disposals for a ruckman. Made a couple of terrible errors, but is working his backside off.
Just on Dale Thomas, this is probably the biggest weakness in his game. He's set shots for goal. He seems to spin the ball in his hands and has a poor ball drop for such a skillful player around the ground. This is one area that he has to improve over summer.
Should throw a bit of grass into the air too.
Has an elk cloaky, Tim.
Missed from the angle a little while ago. This is straight forward. And he produces a straight kick. Collingwood back within a goal.
That was a lot better there from Thomas. Just ran in straight and kicked through the football. And as we said earlier in the match, he's come on in leaps and bounds this year. Obviously the best form of his life. He's doing the hard things, he's doing the skillful things, and he was picked 2 in the draft, and you can see why. Great shot there from Thomas. I think that's a lot better, not spinning the ball in his hands anymore. And obviously it was a little bit of an awkward ball drop, but kicking through the ball, running straight in his lineup, and that's a big improvement.
Second goal for Dale Thomas tonight. Adelaide lead by 6 points. Ball picked up by McKay. Puts Adelaide inside 50. Henderson went without it. Nice pick up by Dangerfield. Then he's immediately gang tackled by 3 Magpies. And he's being penalised. Maxwell wastes no time. Dangerous little handball to Swan, who did well. Great hands by Dane Swan. Jolly to O'Brien. He's gone. Turnover. Picked up by Henderson.
Yeah, that's a blind kick by young Henderson. Got to do better than that. Just rush of blood to the head.
Marked by Anthony. Short one to Swan. He'll steady things down. That's not 15. Johnson. Nice. Clever little underground handball, and then gets the free kick for a hole.
It's downfield. No, so just here. It was in the act.
Downfield 1 metre.
Yeah.
And Nathan Brown's got it.
Yours.
Down the line he goes. Looking for and almost finding Cloak with a one-hander. Johnson. Kicks to the wing. Dawes gets subtly nudged underneath it by Rutten. Well done by the defender. Pendlebury, though, is having an outstanding night. Back to Cloak. Kicks to half forward. And a difficult mark to take, but it was a good effort by Douglas. Controlled it well. To Doughty. And now the Crows got a bit of run.
Crows have kicked 1 goal in a bit over half an hour. They can lose their way in an offensive sense. Oh, Goldsack just went the wrong way. John Cock had read him and got him. Adelaide applying pressure here, just haven't been able to win the ball. McCaffer there for Collingwood. Henderson over the top of him. Thompson in there as well for Adelaide. And Goldsack clumsily into the back of Yench. And so it's Adelaide's footy. But the target is proving elusive. Tippett there, 2 against him as Maxwell offered insurance. Marriage well tackled to Dangerfield. Van Berlo back to Dangerfield. Long way on the left boot, and it's never going to get there along the ground. Thomas doing good things at either end of the ground. Not 15. Swan back to Thomas. Side bottom. And the captain. And the old-fashioned long torpedo dealt with afterwards. So a relayed free kick. Dawes for the Magpies. Their only hope here, Cloak. Adelaide with the crumbing power. Davis is back. Doughty, Symes, and Douglas, who's been good.
It's about Swan having a slow start to the match. All of a sudden, he has 14 disposals on 5 contested possessions. So he's worked his way into the contest well. Yench to Dangerfield, who's busy.
Yours.
Kicks to the pocket, and that's poor delivery. It's marked by Maxwell.
Yeah, well, now they're breaking down once they put the ball into their forward 50, the Crows. And this fellow with the footy, he's as good as anybody as marking a ball off the opposition's boot. 1, because he reads it, and 2, he's got great courage.
Nice little shepherd on the mark, allows Maxwell a bit of meterage. Kicks to half back. Thompson for Adelaide. Concedes some territory, goes back to Symes. He'll go back into the middle of the ground and finds Schmidt. Brings it to the members' side. Have to be very good here. Van Berlo has got to beat a couple, and he can't do it. He's dived on top of it, and he will. They won't be penalised. We'll have a bounce.
Collingwood's tackling will always keep them in the match. They're up to 41 tackles to the Crows 27. That's one area that hasn't fallen away for them, even though they aren't playing as well as they'd like.
Luke Ball winning the clearance. Stevens, though, backed himself there. Height advantage on McCaffer. But Adelaide have got to start finding a way home. It's a familiar pattern for them. Van Berlo's kick straight to Pendlebury. Outstanding for Collingwood. Disposal number 18. Ben Johnson and Thomas Covering a lot of territory. Bad miss, but time to collect. And support from a side bottom to Beams. I get the feeling if the Magpies can kick the next goal or two, they just really might grab control. They can't grab the footy here, though. Good pressure from the Crows. Symes to Van Berlo. But it's a tentative short game they're playing. Thompson. Now Riley. And now there's some promise. As fanning out wide is Yench. Got to make something of this. And Portpleasure, who was a good shot for goal, in a tight spot here, but has to be a chance.
Well, Collingwood's kicked 3 goals 5, and their lowest score at half time is 4 goals 2. So they're looking for their worst first half this season, and the finger and the focus will be pointed at their half-forward line of Dawes and Cloak. 1 mark between them in their forward 50, 5 disposals between them.
Always skinny.
And
Adelaide leads 7 points.
Sorry, Tim. And Lloydie, that's the thing that Collingwood fans and everybody in the footy world will look at very closely, I would think. If Collingwood are not to win the premiership this year, I reckon it'll be the half-forward line of the tall blokes who might let them down. So they really have to fire for Collingwood to perform well.
Only had their 19 inside 50s, though, the Collingwood. So, that's 40 for a game with only 3 or 4 minutes left in the half. So I think they've been double and triple teamed. So hasn't all been their fault.
McCaffer. Stevens does the spoiling, and it's a free kick Adelaide's way. And it's going to go to Stevens.
On the full. On the full.
It's against Travis Cloak for hitting Stevens over the ear hole.
John Cock. And ends up in the arms of Riley. He squeezes one into the forward pocket. Here's an opportunity. Douglas. Back to Symes. Now John Cock, who's run hard from defence. Kicks towards goal, but couldn't quite finish off his good work.
How do you see Nathan Brown and Anthony in those key defensive spots, Lloydie? No Ben Reid, no Prestigiacomo tonight.
They've held up okay so far, but I just think if you can win the clearance rate against Collingwood and you get it into the one-on-ones and you haven't got Maxwell and O'Brien cutting off, I think that is a huge weakness for Collingwood, especially tonight. But I think, and when Ben Reid comes back into the team, there's 3 guys that you should be able to really get on top of in the one-on-ones.
Van Berlo doing enough there against Jolly. Good effort. Still the Magpies prize it away. Thomas, side bottoms fumble, costly. Van Berlo finding his hand pass smothered. It's a willing contest, not free scoring. Now, just a moment ago, Travis Cloak, arriving a little late, was penalised for that, and it's been pointed out to me by an astute observer with a long memory that his older brother Jason missed a grand final because of a misdemeanor against Adelaide in a preliminary final of a similar nature, although with rather more serious consequences. Portpleasure thought that was a mark. The umpire told him it wasn't. No one can kick a goal right now. Young had a go for Adelaide. Cleverly done for Collingwood by Blair. To Shaw, to Johnson. Onto the familiar left side to Thomas. Goldsack. Adelaide's forward pressure good. Goldsack just holding up on the kick to give it to Beams in a safe place.
How's your memory, Tim? Was it Tyson Edwards that he poleaxed that day?
I think it might have been.
It was, wasn't it? Controversial case at the time. Shaw. To Wellingham, back to Shaw. Kicks towards Swan. Schmidt just managed to do the spoiling. Sloan working hard. He's tackled by Swan. That could almost be holding the ball. He hasn't made any attempt to get rid of it. And Collingwood fans thought the same.
A couple of them learning the caper at a young age.
From the bounce, Jolly the handball. Symes gets tackled by Dawes as he came straight on the ground.
That's where it's unfair, really, isn't it? I mean, he's able to step over the line and lay a tackle. I think this is an issue with the revolving door interchange.
I don't think you have to worry about it for too long, Tim.
I don't know whether a cap will solve that sort of thing.
Good strong mark taken by Dawes at half forward. There's your man, Rob.
Yes, well, Dawes and that man in picture, Travis Cloak, they really need to lift if Collingwood's going to finish this game well. Now, Jolly, who's got the footy, this will be his 15th disposal, the most he's ever had in half a game of football in his career.
And the mark's taken by Anthony. He's just drifted down from defence.
He could get the distance here.
Big Jack is back.
I think he fancies himself, Jack, too.
You see, every Adelaide player is in the defensive half of the ground, and that's what's really frustrated Collingwood in this first half. Just haven't been able to penetrate forward.
So in he comes. Big wind up. He's not going to make the distance.
Jeez, that's a shocking
to the tip of the goal square. For the ball is Schmidt. Under pressure. Good release. Now Douglas to Portpleasure to Rutten. And that is the siren to end the first half with Adelaide leading by 8 points, 31-23.
Oh, their pressure has been enormous, both sides. It's like an old-fashioned tussle in a final type match. You just wonder where this has been for the Crows all year. I think Collingwood will go in at half-time, look to adjust, and it's whether the Crows can maintain this pressure.
Apart from Dale Thomas, Collingwood have 1 goal in half of football.
Seeing if this process that the Crows have gone through can stand up for a full match.
We start the third quarter with Adelaide 8 points in front. Riley gets the first stat as the fireworks go overhead at the MCG again.
Hasn't gone.
Mark taken by Sidebottom.
Move it on. Play on. Right there, Scott.
Cloak.
Just very slow and measured, aren't they, when they move the ball forward, the Magpies?
He pumps it long into the pocket. Jolly at the front, fisted away by Marich. Schmidt to Douglas. To Thompson. Kick couldn't quite find Van Berlo. Lets Collingwood into the scene. Sidebottom again into the pocket. And taking the mark is McCaffer.
Exactly where we saw still Sidebottom have the shot for goal on half-time, and that's what the Crows are doing so well. They're forcing Collingwood wide. Collingwood have had a lot of shots within 10 to 15 metres, contested marks. That isn't happening, so they're forcing Collingwood wide, and that's why Collingwood have kicked just the 5 behinds, because they're having really tough shots like this one.
Hasn't bothered the scorers tonight. Kicked a dozen goals this season. Make the distance into the goal square, and the Crows are happy to concede behind.
Magpies have kicked 3-figure scores at their last 7 outings. 162 points last week, 107 against Geelong, but it was 14 goals, 23. Could have been substantially bigger. A miserable 3-6 early in the third quarter here. Shaw climbing in, but only finding the line with his double fister. So the Magpies needing to get the skates on, but Adelaide always vulnerable because of an inability to score heavily. Marich looking at Jolly, who slipped into front posse. Marich hand on the ball. Davis covers for the Crows. Lee Brown with him. Hustled him off it. McKay. Beams got him. Schmidt sees it over.
And this is what Collingwood have done so well this year. All their players are setting up in the defensive roles across the centre of the ground, and they keep the ball inside 50 more so than any other side.
Marich grabbed it out of the ruck. But for Lomo, it spills to Brown. His snap misses. He gets a point.
So it's slow going. John Cock to bring it back for the Crows. They kicked only 1 goal in the second quarter. and they are just starting to struggle. And they will be vulnerable if Collingwood can pull it together. Rutten. So Riley, and they just work it from one back pocket to another, and Schmidt. It's a familiar story when they're on the MCG, the Crows. It happened in that semi-final last year. Their first half was grand final winning stuff. Now, Jolly put hands in the back of the man in front. Smaller man, he didn't really need to do it. And he's given up the free kick to Davis, who's not that much smaller, it must be said. He is key defender size. And now a throw in. So a sluggish start to the second half.
There it is, hands in the back.
And again, Riley sets himself to go with Swan at this stoppage.
Over the top was Marich, Van Berlo. Kay to Douglas, and that's a good mark taken on defensive 50 by the Collingwood captain Nick Maxwell, who gets things moving quickly. Good kick. Side bottom. There's a loose Collingwood player at half forward. He'll have to come down to the wing to get it, and that's McCaffer.
Again going wide.
Oh, and Dawes, it's come off his boot. It's out on the full. Great mark by Nick Maxwell. Ben Rutten with the free kick. So he goes sideways and back to defensive goal square when it's marked by Davis, and he'll bring it along the members' side to Stevens. He chips towards Paul Pleasure. He takes the good mark.
Geez,
well, good Maxwell again.
Well, he took that intercepting mark. He gets there to put the spoil on, and I reckon he'd be saying, I wish half my teammates would be going as hard as I am.
Trying to lead by example, isn't he?
He is.
And he's just had that 19 goals kicked against him in 16 games of footy. So although he's sitting off, he doesn't have goals kicked against him either.
Jolly beautifully done to Pendlebury, releasing him, and Thomas there for the wide receive. Good move this. Brown balancing it on one palm, wanting to break. Forced wide again, and McCaffer not able to pick it up on the full. Gives though to Beams from a long way to the square. Davis and John Cotton waited for each other to go. So it's deep in attack for the Magpies. Collingwood with only one goal kicker apart from Dale Thomas. That's Lee Brown. So they've been close to impotent up forward. And Adelaide have kicked one goal in about 50 minutes. It's become like a soccer contest. Doughty. That wasn't 15. Side bottoms sort of appealing for it. Pendlebury. And Wellingham. But another throw in. So stoppage after stoppage here. Collingwood doing most of the attacking, but not really looking like breaking through.
And I think it's because of this stat, Wallsy. You spoke about play on from the Crows earlier. Collingwood are playing on at just 30%.
Yeah.
And that does make it difficult for forwards. So Cloak and Dawes, they've got no chance unless Collingwood midfielders start taking the game on.
Thomas aiming for his third, kicks into the pocket.
I reckon you're spot on, Lloydie. There's just no dare or boldness. It's as if every time they kick the footy, they want to make sure it's a 100% chance that they mark it. So they go wide, they go short, rather than kick it long to the hot spot. You've got to mix it up a little bit. And as you know, as a forward, you love it when the ball comes in quick.
Beams. Wellingham. Side bottom. Johnson. Chips towards ball. He's got a good mark in front of McHale, I think it is. It is. So a strong mark taken by Luke Ball.
His distance will
test him, yeah.
Well, he's just kicked the 6 goals for the year. Never been noted as a goal kicker, Luke Ball. He's been a great pickup for Collingwood along with Darren Jolly, but this will really test him.
Have seen him kick one from 50 though this year, Lloydie. Luke Ball.
Howling bruise, was it, Howie?
No, he reckons he's got a bit of strength back in his legs. I reckon he'll kick this.
All right.
A strong mark from Luke Ball. Can he make the distance from here? He'll be kicking from about 48 metres out. It's not going to make the distance. Rush behind. Adelaide leads by 5 points.
We've had about 8 minutes of action in this quarter, although using the word action a little loosely. Symes kept it alive. Rutten, John Cock, Davis. Collingwood with Adelaide well corralled here. Dangerfield, poor pleasure. John Cock. Adelaide make their first break, but John Cock was mown down. Great chase by Wellingham. Puts the ball into dispute. And Collingwood forced the stoppage. Virtually the first time Adelaide have crossed the centre in this third quarter. Collingwood doing all the attacking, although not with any great sense of direction. Ball stealing it. Didak. Blair. Rutten, though, getting his body in there strongly with Brown coming the other way. Symes. Good chase by Dawes. Doughty. McKay. Brought down by side bottom. And well played by Seller just to hold it up for that crucial moment. McKay and Thompson. And now Stevens. And Adelaide do build something of an attack, but well taken with the flight by Jolly.
Off to Swan. He kicks to Thomas. Off to the run of Harry O'Brien. Haven't seen much of him tonight. Long ball to half forward. Marked by Didak. Here's some promise for Collingwood.
Well, a quick play on.
Yeah.
Just a quick play on. He just backed himself, took off, lifted his eyes. Where's the target? There's the target, the big fella. And it's not often that the balls come quickly to Dawes or Cloak. Lloydie, what do you think? Their main rivals for the premiership, Geelong, St Kilda, would be learning from this performance by the Crows.
Well, it just shows what pressure can do, and I think Geelong were beaten in every area of the game last time they played Collingwood. But the problem is at least Geelong can score down the other end, whereas Adelaide just aren't up to it. But Geelong would take a bit out of the pressure that the Crows have put on them.
Chris Dawes kicks. No, didn't make the distance again. So no score. Thompson to Stevens in the back pocket. Not a lot on offer, but he makes a very good fist of it. And that's a mark, free kick, whatever you like, going Adelaide's way. And it switches on again. Doughty. Long ball towards Schmidt. Jolly works really hard. The big fella gets there first and then taps it towards Shaw, who keeps it alive. Seller over the line. Good chase from Jolly.
Yeah, well, look, tonight, and maybe it's a one-off, but Collingwood's got a pretty big forward line. There's Cloak. There's Josh Fraser with the hood on. But they've got Cloak, Dawes and Lee Brown down there. There's three big fellas, and the Crow defence is just running it out so easily out of their defensive 50.
Collingwood have only led for a couple of minutes in the first quarter, and that by a behind, and they won't grab the lead here because Stevens has been contacted high, but it's all defence for the Crows, and surely it's a matter of time the way the game's being played at the moment. Rutten to Doughty to Symes. But Adelaide just not advancing with any confidence. Thompson in the Walker direction, had to go the spoil from behind. Tippett from a long way to an unguarded goal, and against the run of play he curls it home for a crucial goal.
And it's exactly what this game needed to sway it in one team's favour or the other, and that's what I like, Woolsey. Just the quick kick from Scotty Thompson and to a one-on-one, puts pressure on Tippett at ground level. He's a big man, but that's all you ask for as a forward, is that one-on-one opportunity into a quick forward line. And
why would he come off? He's been sitting up there doing nothing for 10 minutes. He kicks a great goal and he's brought off. He's been cold up there. He has nothing to do for 10 minutes. He kicks a ripping goal and he's dragged Matthew Lloyd. What goes on with these guys kicking a goal and coming off? He's hardly done anything for 10 minutes. Not his fault.
Couldn't agree with you more. Sports science has gone crazy. It's taken over when the old-fashioned football rotations should come back into it a bit more often for key position players.
That was actually their first entry to the 50 for the quarter.
Poor Kirk Tippett. He's kicked a blinding goal and he's being dragged.
You know, Tippett's the #1 player in the AFL for contested possessions in the forward 50. And what you've got to like about him is he's a massive man, around 200 centimetres tall, but he wins his own ball, and at ground level, he's not out of the hunt.
So it's Adelaide's second goal in about 55 minutes, and yet it's enough to give them an 11-point lead. As unproductive as they've been, Collingwood have been even more so, or less so, depending on which way you look at it. Stevens gives it up. Blair just couldn't get a clean kick. Neither could Cloak. It hit the behind post, so there'll be a throw-in.
Something Nick Malthouse has to consider is the top heavy forward structure that he's got. Now Jolly's playing in the forward line alongside Cloak and Dawes, and I just reckon this Crow defence is running the ball out so easily. He might have to think about having some medium-sized players there who can just run with them.
Oh, Wellingham, terrific mark, courageous, and he'll have a shot at goal. They went the short option, the Crows. The only pie there was that man, Sharrod Wellingham, and he's taken an excellent mark.
One of the reasons Wellingham, why Collingwood's improved so dramatically this year, and he's got a lot harder in his game, and that was up against a far bigger man in Rutten. That was a really courageous mark. 11
goals this season.
Kicks more points than he does goals. Quarters.
He didn't even make the distance. Another rush behind. Adelaide by 9. In fact, make that 10.
Oh, that was a very ordinary kick.
Stay there.
Collingwood 3 goals, 9. How many times have we seen that this year where their points far outweigh their goals?
They kicked 24-18 last week. Dangerfield receives, gives to Thompson. A lot of stats being chalked up, but a lot of them not terribly effective. Poor pleasure here. O'Brien got into his back. Adelaide's ball, and the umpire says, bring it back. Umpire Farmer. Poor pleasure, been pretty good. Into the 50. Here comes Tippett again. Had to go the spoil there. Kick didn't have the carry. Bit of humidity in the air, and perhaps the ball holding up. Ball to Didak. Out wide for McCaffer. Shaw hasn't really been able to break and use his running power. Dawes along the boundary line. Swan been well subdued tonight. Too far out to do damage on the board here. Keeps it wide. Cloak.
Well, you know they'll do it. Kicked 5 goals, 5 behinds last week, Travis Cloak. And Neil Creag's given that chewing gum a good working over.
And still hasn't put anything warmer over the T-shirt. Tommy Hafey always said that the adrenaline of the event just got him so pumped up that warmed him. Cloak, good side for a left footer. Tight angle though, lovely kick. He's good from the long range. Collingwood back within 4.
Where he got Davis on the lead with some space. You even see Dowdy was still looking to support, but there's a bit of a miscommunication there from Davis and Dowdy wasn't happy with the young fella, but that is a great kick from a tough angle from Travis Cloak. Collingwood's kicking efficiency going inside 50 tonight has been just 19%, so they have not used the ball well, but that was a good finish there. Dane Swan hitting Travis Cloak, and a fantastic kick from the key forward.
Crows lead 4 points. Thompson got caught high.
Scott Thompson got him high. Back here, stay out.
Kicks to half forward. Hand underneath it is Dangerfield. Gets it moving quickly. Ball kick deep. Tippett's there. Off hands. In fact, it's still in play here. Now it's a point. Rush behind.
So the Crows by 5 points. Collingwood hasn't led since the 7-minute mark of the opening quarter. They were in front by a point for 2.5 minutes. Goldsack loads up with the torp, and he miscued it.
I tell you what, I reckon he might have to put the torp in the rack, because he miscues more than he gets onto it.
And he might be given further encouragement to put it in the rack now, because Scott Stevens will be lining them up, and he might watch this sail straight back over his head.
Collingwood runners out to Goldsack. And we know he practices the top. He missed that sweet connection by a mile. Only travelled about 45 metres. Straight down the middle of the ground, sets it up for the Crows.
Just 4 goals for the year, Scott Stevens, but he splits the middle there. And again, the Crows stretch the lead. Well, we should lament his failures because when they fail, every time they fail, it means we're a bit less likely to see it again.
That was just such a low percentage kick. There was one Collingwood player, Lee Brown, 70 metres away, and 5 Crows players. Not sure what he was thinking there.
Scott Stevens wanders back down to defence. He's put Adelaide 11 points up.
I don't think we'll see the sack kick another talk.
Didak with the clearance. Inside 50 goes Stevens down the other end. Almost takes the mark. Handballs to Doughty. He's under pressure. So's Van Berlo. Plays a bit of tunnel ball. Riley. Oh, handball missed the target. Dawes just couldn't quite pounce. Rutten to John Cock. Dangerous kick to Douglas. Nice hands though by Douglas. Van Berlo went without it. Quick snap by Swan into the goal square. Rush behind.
Dueling rush behinds at the moment. Needed good hands there, did young Phil Davis. He produced them, and Adelaide control the footy. They lead by 10 points. The flag favourites, the top team, putting in a substandard performance so far. John Cock, and he has 3 of them lined up here. Doughty takes it. An old hand, he runs on, he kicks well, and it's plucked by Henderson from over the back. And Adelaide, when they move it in quickly, can be dangerous. And Nathan Van Berlo is about 47 out. He's got a kick from outside 50.
Van Berlo kicked the goal that sealed the game for the Crows against Brisbane last week at the Gabba. And he was a bit further out and a tighter angle than this.
I wonder if conditions can make a difference, although you'd imagine there might be a bit of humidity in the air in Brisbane as well, even though it'll be warmer. So from about 51, it's not on line, and it's not quite there, and it's beautifully marked by Jolly for Collingwood. And still, goals are hard to find. Just 1 goal to 2 goals to 1 Adelaide's way this quarter.
And a paltry 10 goals for the match so far. Another breakdown from the kick in. Sloane takes the mark, kicks to the hot spot, and getting back there with a bit of courage. Didn't know what was coming was Wellingham. And mucking around with it inside defensive 50. Wellingham has another go. Dangerfield forces it out. Side bottom, Jolly. Swan gets dispossessed. Tuvey. Side bottom, kicks to Shaw.
Heath Shaw just 11 disposals. He's really down on his normal output.
Leave it on, play on.
Kicks to side bottom. He'll switch here. By Brown. Nathan Brown towards Beams. Look out! Got run down. O'Brien ducks the Portlesia tackle. Then he dished off nicely to Goldsack. Good shepherd by Maxwell. Allows Goldsack to have a bounce and make it 2. Draws the player. Handballs to Beams. Beams over the top to Cloak on his wrong side. So forced to handball backwards to Goldsack again. Holding the ball. Turnover.
They've tackled well, the Crows.
And what's going on, Wolsey, is that there's so many numbers back behind the play for Adelaide. People at home would be saying, why doesn't Goldsack kick it inside 50? But the forwards for Collingwood are just outnumbered. And Adelaide have thought through this game so well.
Doughty to Stevens. And slots it to Riley. Wide to Dangerfield. Very careful build-up this by the Crows. Goes in the Van Berlo direction, and Henderson So a throw in.
You see James Saller in the ruck for the Adelaide Crows. Just the one disposal. He's been at the club. He's been a high draft pick. There he is in picture. He's been at the club for 3 or 4 years now. It's time that he really stood up, and he's got a quarter and a bit to do so, and just the game next week.
Sloan off Jolly's bring down McKay, but Maxwell is in the way for the Magpies. 10 points in it late in the third quarter, and neither team really looking capable of winning it. I don't know what that means. It might be a home parliament here at the MCG quarters.
Kick to Thomas. He finds Blair. And again they hug the boundary line as Lee Brown takes the mark.
Stay there.
Exactly what the Crows would be wanting. Just no options whatsoever for Lee Brown.
Just stagnant, isn't it? No fast flow footy.
It's a good mark to McCaffer. He wants a 50, none forthcoming. Another burst coming up at three-quarter time from the Collingwood coach.
Well, if you're a player, you don't want to be in first.
Get there last, Rob.
Yeah, no, you don't
do the bootlaces up.
You don't want to come in last either. Around about 16th is the spot.
And you make no eye contact.
McCaffer goes backwards to Anthony. And he switches back again to the outer side of the ground, and that's a mark in front. Adelaide's way. Doughty to Johncock to Sloan. Tough play from Tuvey. Johnson to side bottom to Pendlebury at half forward. Fisted away by Rutten. Doughty again.
Ben Rutten's played a really good game tonight. Been really strong across the full back line. St. back line won every one-on-one contest he's been in, and also won plenty of the footy.
Collingwood 1 goal in the first quarter, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third. And the Sands are running out for them here. Still got to kick at least 2 goals to win the night. The way they're going, that'll take some doing. Dangerfield breaks away for the Crows. Scrubby kick. Porplesia and Tuvey. And the boundary umpire to get into the action again. A minute left. If Adelaide could kick a goal here, and they have it at their end of the ground with Mick going apoplectic down on the boundary, it would be pretty tough for Collingwood. Such is their incapacity to score.
Good sides find a way to win, Tim. You just don't know where they're going to come from, the goals, do you?
They're having a shocker, and they just seem to do this unaccountably from time to time. And I suppose it starts sowing doubt in everybody's mind about them. Nathan Brown fumbling it. Just about letting in the Crows, but Tuvey shovels it to Thomas. Van Berlo's after him. Thomas quick enough. Well done. McCaffer inside. Could Collingwood score? The time is available. If only they could move the ball with the fluency required. Just about giving it up there. O'Brien's had a dirty night. Sloan now for Adelaide. Might yet be time for the Crows. Tippett. Well done, Brown. Held his ground. Douglas there for Adelaide. Brown paddling to nobody. Yench. Oh, missed his target. Just enough time if Adelaide could get it right at the throw-in.
Tim, you spoke of Harry O'Brien. You're spot on. Will Young has stuck to his task from the start of the game. Harry O'Brien just 4 disposals for the night.
Clearing kick by Maxwell. Dawes in front, can't mark. Stevens has had a great game. 3-quarter time. Is there a big boil over on the cards? Get ready for another Mick Malthouse spray. It's Collingwood 4-10 trailing the Adelaide Crows 6-8. 10 points to the Crows at the final change. Don't forget, the finals for 2010 are just 2 weeks away.
Can't be long-lived. Franklin's kick 6. This to put the Hawks in front with just a few seconds left in the elimination final. Nate Franklin. What inspiration. Lucky 7.
So don't let it continue. Put Harry forward. Make Neil Craig think, what am I going to do now?
Interesting exchange. Harry, who has had lots of confidence and a bit of swagger about him through the year, looking a little frustrated there. Adelaide's ball as they turn for home, 10 points in front. And if they can score early, it's hard to see Collingwood doing it on current indications.
Be careful, Tim. Be careful, Tim. Don't go too early.
I had an if in there, just for a change. Lee Brown.
Stay out, Dane.
One of Collingwood's 3 goal kickers for the night. Hugs the boundary again. So they've done over and over again. Rutten, Porplesia and John Cock. Well done by some hard men for Adelaide, and John Cock went to ground, might have milked it a little. And it's a relayed free kick, so Adelaide can mount an attack. Douglas placing it to within about 25 and tip it and roving it beautifully is it Young again having a big Walker. Bad missing.
Bad miss. And Lee Brown gave him one to the mush. Free kick downfield. We didn't see that off camera. About 3 crows went to Lee Brown and gave him a bit of a shake-up.
Gee, it was a bad miss from Taylor Walker, Matthew.
It was. It's could have just about been the sealer. I know there's a long stage time to go, but to stretch it out to 16 points when Collingwood have only kicked 4 goals on the match, I think he had too much time, was probably too casual. That's one of the reasons why he's been in and out of the side, Taylor Walker, for such a long period of time.
From the throw in, Riley working hard. Sloan. And knocked forward by Thompson. 50 out from Adelaide's goal.
Come on. Let it up. That's okay. Thank you. Don't run it.
Spills to Marich. To McKay. Kicks around the corner. Dangerfield in the front posse here. Oh, they all attack it. At the 4, the ball was Pendlebury. Now big Marich again, the ruckman. There's the arms pinned in the tackle. Holding the ball.
Collingwood supporters say about time.
Blair takes the free kick. And Goldsack gives him a good option. Thomas now. Collingwood look to advance it quickly, and that's a good kick.
Yeah.
Finding side bottom.
And they squared it up, Tim. At last they put one in the corridor.
But this is too slow once again.
He gets a good lead though from Cloak. He slipped away from Stevens, whose frustration shows. And with the man on the mark inside 30 metres, it should be easy for Travis Cloak. He kicked a beauty from out on the boundary in the 3rd quarter, but this is the kind of shot that seems to bother him a little.
These are ones where you think a lot more about it, Tim. These are the ones you think, I can't miss this one because it's straight in front. But this is where he's just got to kick through the footy. He can often lean back, stab at the footy, and hope he kicks it for his own confidence.
He's throwing that grass in the air. That can't be good. Yeah, it's a problem, Lloydie. Frustration all round. Another behind goes into the book. Teeth are clenched.
1 goal, 2 to Travis Cloak. Bad miss. Adelaide by 10 points. Side bottom goes back outside 50 to Goldsack, who stabs it to Ball. Ducked the tackle. Got it one high. So free kick coming back to Luke Ball. Too far out to score, you'd think.
How many bad kicks has Goldsack given us tonight?
He's kicking at 33%, Wolsey, tonight, Tyson Goldsack.
Ball gives it off to Brown. That little trick didn't work out. Goes into the pocket. Douglas is there. Side bottom. Kept it alive. Good kick to the hot spot. But the mark's taken by Marich. And the ruckman's got to be clean here, and he is to Sloan. Crows switch once again. Oh, kick comes off. Marked by John Cock.
So still Adelaide by 10 points. John Cock plays the boundary. Doughty knocks it on. He's been very solid. Tuvey for the Magpies. Pendlebury back to Tuvey. Thomas, good trap, and Pendlebury always coming, always there, and he gives to Cloak, and this might be his position, although he's on the wrong side this time.
Yeah, and he's got Jolly and Heath-Shaw screaming at him to get it in quickly to the corridor. Jolly's still got the hands up, and I reckon Travis says, no, I can't kick them from in front, but I can slot them from the boundary.
And will he go for a banana or the drop punt for a left footer? Obviously he's holding the footy now like a drop punt. This is a really tough kick. Generally they'll go across the face here for a left footer.
And you've read it beautifully, Lloydie. The boundary umpire's down. It's a behind.
Get up.
The margin 9 points. Quick takeaway by the Crows. And Henderson pumping it just a bit long for Young. Young and O'Brien one out. Anthony gives Collingwood the numbers. And O'Brien breaks like he's really been able to do tonight.
A rare stat for Harry O. Goes into the middle. Sobottom's been busy. He's got a loose player out on the other side of the ground. Good effort by Doughty, though, to cause the spoil. Big tackle by Goldsack. Umpire will come in and bounce.
He's had a great year, Doughty. That was a great stop there on Lee Brown. The Pies were away. I've seen him clean up Aaron Davey, Alwyn Davey, and week in, week out, he's doing a number on the small, dangerous player from the opposition.
Well, he's become a senior player, has been for a while, but even more so now when you consider the senior players who are out of this Crows team.
He's shaken but not stirred, Doughty. He gets up a little bit slowly, but he's okay. Maxwell. Didak. Back to Maxwell. Pendlebury just gets put to ball. Lee Brown amidst 4 Crows can't win out. Rutten. This is a brave kick, too brave. He's turned it over to Cloak, and the Collingwood players peel off. Getting there and taking the diving mark is Blair.
He's run about 50 metres to get their quarters. I don't know whether he's got enough gas in him now to kick it. But the Adelaide Crows, I'll just run through a few names. Goodwin, Burton, Bock, Edwards, McLeod, Knights, Otten, Vince. 8 of them, all very good players. Some retired. Bock, of course, gone. And Otten didn't play a senior game at all this year. They've got a lot of quality out of that team tonight.
Blair from right on the 50. He's not going to make the distance. Into the goal square. Big fist came from Ivan Maric.
Big Ivan kicked the first goal of the night. Would have just about torn up your ticket if you'd drawn him in the first goal competition. He would have been at long odds. Right now he's looking for a breather as the Crows work it around in their back half. They want to get it out of here. Collingwood are pressing again. John Cock has Sloan there on the overlap. Doughty again. He just delayed there and Cloak got him. Gone. He did have an opportunity which he didn't take. Now,
just clear out, back around.
Heathshaw trying to lay a little shepherd. Cloak along the boundary. Jolly, 2 against him.
Gee, you could put a package together of the number of times Collingwood's kicked it to within 5 metres of the boundary line as they go forward.
Jolly the tap. Follows up his work. Picked up by Pendlebury. Squeezing kick back inside the Magpies 50. Way over it is Thomas. Handballs to side bottom. Dribbles one towards goal, but only a point.
The dribblers, Lloydie, they get caught out like that, don't they? Put the ball in the air. That bloke's not going to touch it.
Yeah, you would have liked him to be able to use his right foot with a drop punt, but I know I was never up to using my non-preferred either, Wolsey, so I can't talk.
Is that what Acker was talking about when he said he played on a dribbler in the VFL? John Cock, Rutten there just to shepherd, side bottom away. Awful looking kick from John Cock, a mongrel. Didak has it. Dawes looking to shepherd. He actually pushed Scott Thompson into a tackling position. Didak hasn't quite been his deadly self tonight. And even the bounce of the ball is not working for him as that one just got away from Dale Thomas. So a throw in. Collingwood doing all the attacking, but still goals are elusive.
Dane Swan 22 disposals, the elusive 30, 11 weeks in a row to get 30. It looks like he may not do it.
Douglas, the clearing kick into the middle. Strong mark taken by Porplesia. Plays on immediately. Tippett fell. In fact, it was Walker who fell over at the crucial moment. Now mopping up is Tuvey. Kick's going to be marked here by Van Berlo. More fireworks overhead.
Storm are doing more scoring than Collingwood.
It's got plenty of tries tonight. Well, Paul Keating, if we continue the political thing, once said it was the recession we had to have. Is this the loss Collingwood has to have before the September action?
It's been a long time since they last lost a game, Quarters, about 8 or 9 weeks, isn't it?
Haven't lost a match since round 10, that game against the Brisbane Lions up at the Gabba.
Keating certainly wouldn't have described 6 goals, 9 to 4-14 as a beautiful set of numbers. Here's Porplesia from a difficult angle out on the full. And still, we don't know who's going to bring home the bacon.
And let's remember, Paul Keating was the #1 ticket holder, was he not, at some stage for Collingwood, even though he knew absolutely nothing about football?
Yes, it was a very brief relationship, I think, he had with the game.
He knew they had good numbers, though.
Quick worry ahead, Rob. Thomas takes the mark at half-back. Little short one to side bottom. He switches to the members' side. Here's an opportunity for the Magpies. Shaw's got Didak free, and he's got about 50 metres on his nearest opponent. Doesn't bounce, decides to drill the pass. And that might be a chop. It is. Free kick, Collingwood. An arm chop. No advantage. It's coming back. And the free kick is going to be taken by Lee Brown.
And that's what a quick kick inside 50 does. That was a great set play, and that is chopping in the arms. That was what the rule was brought in for. Crows fans shouldn't be disappointed. And Lee Brown, I know I study guys who kick for goal. His goal kicking has improved out of sight this year. In past years, he's really missed these types of shots, but he's going at 16 goals, 7 so far this season.
Tonight he's kicked 1 goal, 1. Adelaide leads by 7 points. Lee Brown, good looking kick off the boot. It's through the middle.
A rare occasion where Collingwood had clear space. Alan Didak left free on the wing, and that created that scoring opportunity to Lee Brown.
Closest Collingwood have been since the 10-minute mark of the first quarter. Point the difference. It's last year's first semi all over again in terms of closeness. Here go the Crows. Douglas putting it in front of himself. Tuvey played it well and releases Heath Shaw. Suddenly Collingwood looking fluid. Johnson to put it inside the 50 again. The Magpies doing just about all the attacking, but from wide out. Cloak from behind, but the second bite.
Have a shot.
Yes, he could do it from there.
Have a shot. Kicked one from pretty much the same spot earlier in the night.
This is his spot.
He's had a real influence in this last quarter, Travis Cloak. He's having shots on goal and also tackling really well. He's had 5 tackles, a couple in this last quarter.
So this for the lead for the first time since 7 minutes into the match. From 50. It's not coming back. Scores will be level. 45 apiece halfway through the last quarter and a little bit more. And the flow, you'd have to say at the moment, is with the Magpies.
Yeah, I just think the Crows, been desperately trying to hang on, they've got to play with a bit more recklessness now. They've got to be thinking about winning, not saving, because they're no longer in front.
Tippett takes a good mark, but he's a long way from goal. Handball comes to Riley. Now, what's on offer for Riley? He has a bounce. Drills it long. Walker's being held. It's got to be a free kick to the Crows.
Yeah, and the reason that he panicked, Anthony, because the ball came in quickly. They got the mark on back flank, the Crows. They played on and they brought it in the corridor. And then the quick long kick, and Jack Anthony, he panicked, grabbed hold of his opponent, and free kick goes to the Crows. Well played by Adelaide.
History in reverse.
Well, Taylor Walker has already missed a put in this quarter. He should have missed from here. He's only 20 metres out, slight angle. This to give the Crows a 6-point lead. Two goals to Taylor Walker. Adelaide leads by that goal.
Yeah, you're right, Wolsey. That's what a quick kick does. Put defenders under pressure, and Jack just took his eyes off the ball and didn't give Walker a run at the footy. And I don't know what he had to argue about, because that was as clear a free kick as you'll ever see.
In that semi-final last year, Ben Rutten penalised for holding Anthony, who kicked the winning goal for Collingwood. Tonight, a little earlier in the final quarter, Anthony penalised for holding Walker, who puts Adelaide back in front. Oh, gee, Riley just about kicked his teammate in the face there. Again, Collingwood press. Johnson on the break, couldn't straighten onto his left. And he doesn't use his right, and he puts it out of bounds.
Second one in a row, isn't it, Tim? We saw Steele side bottom. Not great on the right foot, and Ben Johnson known for that as well. No right foot, and that can cost you games.
Marich against Brown in the ruck. Quick handball comes to Didak. He makes no mistake, scores level again.
He can dribble it.
It just started finding ways to get goals, Collingwood. You can just get a sense that they're going to keep kicking a couple more. So that's where Wolsey's right. The Crows have got to find a way to not save this game, but actually kick some themselves.
When you want a goal, he's the man whose hands you want to have the ball in. Level again. Collingwood haven't led for 93 minutes in this match. Adelaide footy, but a good tackle by Didak. Couple of telling plays. Swan and Pendlebury. The Collingwood midfield machine. Now McCaffer. And the Magpies are looking for the lead and looking likely to get it. Didak to Cloak. He's on the non-preferred side. The fans 150, they're not getting it.
Well, Dane Swan, a couple of rapid-fire disposals, brings him up to 25.
And this is the run and carry, which we have not seen all night. The Crows have, to their credit, been able to stop that run and carry. Didak, Swan combining there to a clear lead that Cloak could get on. And that's what's worrying signs for the Crows. It's opened up for the Magpies.
You called the last shot from out here, Lloydie. The angle not quite as severe here. He's a little bit closer. What do you reckon?
Oh, he misses so many, Tim, to the right-hand side.
For the lead. He mightn't claim it. Stevens fists it through. And it does put Collingwood in front. Plenty of time left. But Collingwood lead for the first time since 7 minutes into the night.
Stevens goes the long option. Fall of the ball is Swan, couldn't trap it. Lays the tackle. What a bounce. And that's silly by Swan, who'll give a free kick away there. And Dowdy's got the free kick, he plays on, runs himself into a little bit of trouble, gives it to Sloane. They've got a taste now, Collingwood, they're on the hunt.
I reckon you're right, Quarters. Crows, they've got a sniff now. And the crowd's right behind them.
42,000 here tonight. Sloane to Thompson. Kicks to half forward. Big pack fly. Front and centre was Van Berlo. Got his head ripped off. So it's a free kick.
Magpie fans expressing their approval of the umpiring.
So the Crows work it inside 50. Walker works his way to the front. Anthony did well. Poor Pleasure held up. A bounce. 35 metres out from the Crows' goal. Collingwood leads by a point.
Yeah, and there's Mark Bickley on the bench there. He's got the laptop. Former captain, premiership player, helping his coach.
Tippett doing the ruck work. Collingwood control it. Nathan Brown wide. Sloane trying to get to it before it gets to the line. Collingwood looking to seal top position. If they lost this game with Hawthorn to come next week, it's conceivable that Geelong could overhaul them and they'd have to play St Kilda rather than the out-of-form Bulldogs on the first week of the final. So it is important. The stakes are high for the Magpies. The coach knows it. The fans know it. And the Crows, who lost a heartbreaker here in the semi-finals last year against them, they know it too, and they want to win this tonight. Swan for Collingwood. Just bangs it away. It's not great. Poor Pleasure has been good. He's too far out. Not by much.
That's it. Where you are, right on the
Hasn't been a night for long kicks, long goals. The Porpoise is having a bit of a look. He's wondering.
You're right where you are, Chris, okay?
Yeah, what we've seen tonight, Tim, you'd think he would struggle to make the distance here from probably having a kick from 53, 54 metres out.
If he puts it right into the teeth, at least they could score it behind and level it up for what it's worth. He's certainly gone for it. It's on the near side. It didn't cross. And Darren Jolly, as he so often is, right back in the last line, in the right spot for the big man.
And he kicks to Swan, who's coming up for his 27th disposal. So it's been pretty well held, but he's still racked up 27. Oh, gee. 5 minutes to go. Collingwood leads by a point. They haven't won the minor premiership since 1977. Poor Pleasure with the ball in his hands again. A little short one. Kicks to Thompson. He goes back into the middle. This will open things up a little bit. John Cock. Short and sideways. To Schmidt. He goes out wide. Mark taken by Symes. Going round in circles here, the Crows. Now the long kick goes inside 50. Tippett in front, has it knocked away. Sloane. Held up. Bounce. 40 out from Adelaide's goal.
Well, if they get a quick kick out Collingwood, it'll come straight back because the Crows have got a wall set up in the middle of the ground.
Well, there are a couple of dramatic twists in the dying minutes of that semi-final last year. What's this got for us? Here go the Crows. John Cock pumps it. That is a mighty kick. And Riley at the back nearly marked it. Swan again near the boundary. That's better. Gives to Blair. Over the top to side bottom. And the Magpies break. He gives to Cloak. He's got Pendlebury forward of him. Not a lot forward of him. It'll be about 3-on-1 up in the 50. And that goes nowhere near the 50. It's coughed up. It's Adelaide's ball again.
Not a bad kick, though. It gives Collingwood time to set their zone up once again.
Not a lot on offer here.
Hasn't gone.
Little short kick finds Schmidt. And Hill in turn goes short to McKay. Oh, turn it over. Brown, short, Mark, taken by Johnson.
He did well because, one, he intercepted, but two, he didn't bomb away. He just knew he had to find a target. He found one. Now, the fellow with the foot, he's not the greatest kick in the world. He's a terrific player. And I wonder if he might just handball it off to a mate.
Thanks, Nick. Thank you.
He's got Goldsack lurking just behind. Now would be the time for a big torp.
Got a
It looks like he's going to kick it himself.
Don't go over it.
Johnson. Collingwood leads by a point. Drills it long and low. Oh, Thomas! Dale Thomas has taken the mark. He's kicked a couple of goals and he'll be lining up from 10 metres out on a 45-degree angle, and this would give them a 7-point buffer.
Cometh the moment, cometh the man, and he would love this situation. I reckon he might have known that his mate, and that was a really flat kick by Benny Johnson. He didn't connect it anywhere near as well, but he got a bit of a hook on it, and I reckon this fella would have known that there was maybe a 20% chance the kick would go like that, and he was ready.
It won't quite be the seal. Oh, he's missed it. I was going to say go a long way to the Magpies getting top spot, but he has missed it, so it's 2 points of difference. Still a bit of time left.
There is enough time for Adelaide, although at their current goal scoring rate, it might take them an hour to kick another one. Stevens receives as they go via the Cape again. No marking power there for the Crows, and Collingwood have the crumb ability. However, there's a bit of a chance here as Walker bangs it along the carpet. O'Brien, well tied up.
Yeah, and no longer has he got that little young tagger on him in Will Young. Let's have a look at the miss. Jeez, he's missed by a lot.
So, it's within 80 metres of Adelaide's goal. Riley gaining about 30 of them. Well done, Maxwell, but how will it land? It lands well for Collingwood. Sharrod Wellingham, not the biggest out there, but he rose, and that is a very important grab for the Magpies.
Intercepted by Sloane. So another turnover. Sloane receives again. Blair for Collingwood. Towards the boundary it goes. Handball comes back to Jolly. Again back to Blair. He's backtracking here. Beams sells the dummy nicely. And chips and finds McCaffer.
This last quarter, Wolsey, it's been 8 marks inside 50 to Collingwood. None to the Crows. So if they get one last opportunity, that's their only hope. I think Tippett or Walker to take a mark, which they haven't been able to take all night.
McCaffer just drills it long. Taken by Wellingham. And another stoppage coming up here.
Just 3 goals kicked in the quarter, which would suggest it won't be a terribly long one. 27.5 gone. And time against Adelaide, although Collingwood fans are not convinced of that. Crows need a takeaway. Shaw got his hands on the footy. Yeah. Another ball up.
No extra Crows players behind the ball. It's 3 on 3 as you go towards the right. So Neil Craig hasn't dropped numbers back. They've got to win the game.
Riley, third man up. Blair did well. Victory for the little guy. Beams for the Magpies. And Wellingham again. The goal unguarded. He's missed it. It'll be Adelaide's ball. And a goal would win it for them, but they don't have long to kick it.
Adelaide players all running to the one side, and this is the side where the ball goes. They've got numbers.
Symes kicks long. Doing the spawning was Henderson. Goldsack just jams it on the boot to the 50. And it's a mark. A crucial mark taken by Dawes. There it is. For the first time since 1977, Collingwood has secured the minor premiership. But there's still a lot of work to do. But they'll take it. Good teams find a way of winning. They've done that tonight. And the margin at the moment is 3. Dawes will have a shot at goal from outside 50. He goes the big torpedo. He's made a good fist of it, but it won't make the distance. But Collingwood get the points, but only just.